Barca focus on Xavi, Pogba to leave United for free, Hazard offered to Premier League clubs, a transfer roundup, plus this week's Friday Feels, all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. So yesterday, news did break that Barcelona had sacked their manager Ronaldo Koeman, and replacing him is Sergi Barjuan. He's the Barcelona B team head coach and he's been brought in as the interim manager. Barjuan has spent 14 years at the club in his professional career and also was appointed the Barcelona B team coach in June of 2021. And he will be talking to the media today with President Joan Laporta as a preview for their game against Alaves this weekend, as of course this Barcelona team sits in 9th position, 6 points adrift of league leaders Real Madrid. So in the aftermath of Koeman's dismissal, there have been a few reports as to how he was actually sacked. So according to the likes of 90 Minutes and Sport, the manager was told he would no longer be Barcelona coach on the plane ride home from their defeat against Rayo Vallecano before the plane had even touched down. Joan Laporta was reportedly a few rows away from the manager and he was on the phone to directors about his future. That must have been a very awkward plane ride. Now, of course, the focus is switching to who will be replacing the manager. And of course, the main name that is being thrown into the mix is Xavi, former Barcelona player and absolute legend at the club. And according to Goal, he has already been offered the position. Now, of course, he is coaching in Qatar for Al Sadd. He reportedly on Thursday had a conversation with the club who don't want to stand in his way and are happy for him to depart for the job. However, there will be a buyout fee. Now, negotiating this fee, which is reportedly around €1 million, is not the issue here. Barcelona have reportedly offered to play a friendly with the club in order to try and reduce the fee, but the main issue is that the Qatari club do not want to let him go until after November 3rd, which of course means that Xavi would not be able to be in charge of Barcelona as they face Dynamo Kiev in their Champions League group stage fixture. In a press conference, Xavi has said that he is focused on his work with Al Sadd and cannot talk about anything else at the moment. But according to Marca, it seems like negotiations will come to a close in the coming days and he will be eventually announced as the new manager. However, according to reports, because of the La Liga salary cap that Barcelona have, they won't be able to offer him the highest of salaries, and also because they have parted ways with Koeman and his coaching staff, they will have to pay them some compensation, and reportedly Koeman is set to receive about €12 million. Therefore, it may be pretty costly to get Koeman out and to bring Xavi in, but hopefully the return of this club legend will give the club a real boost, and let's hope he can bring them some success. Now, this weekend is a massive one for Manchester United and their manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in what is a must-win game against Spurs. However, there has been one player that has been hitting the headlines, Paul Pogba. Now, according to ESPN, the club have accepted the fact that it is unlikely that the Frenchman will be signing a new contract with the club and that they are prepared to let him leave in the summer for free. When Pogba rejoined the club from Juventus in 2016, he cost a then world record of £89.1 million. And rather than trying to recoup any of that money, the owners of the club, the Glazer family, are reportedly very relaxed at the idea of not selling the player in January and missing out on a transfer fee, as they believe that keeping him at the club for the final 5 to 6 months of the season is a lot more important than any financial boost of moving him on in January. Now, there have been rumours that Man United have tried to persuade Pogba to stay at the club and they have made some attempts to offer him a new contract, but according to some senior figures reportedly, by the end of last season really, they did have a good idea that Pogba would not be renewing his contract and that they have already reportedly tried to look elsewhere for some replacements. To me, this doesn't come as a big surprise. Pogba is an undeniable talent, that is definitely for sure. However, since he has returned to Manchester United, there have been a lot of inconsistencies. Some of them his fault potentially, and some of them definitely not his fault. I think that he has really struggled to keep his form and to perform at the highest level. This could be due to different managers, the fact that he wasn't always played in the correct position, and the fact that with a player like Pogba, you really do need to kind of build a team around him. And that is not what Manchester United have done. And maybe it is time to simply close this chapter of his career. However, there have been some moments of greatness and there have been times when he really has been a key player for this Man United team. And his potential destination, well, Paris Saint-Germain and a return to Juventus have always been linked to Pogba. However, according to ESPN, Liverpool and Real Madrid are interested in the player, with Real Madrid reportedly already putting the wheels in motion to try and bring the player to the club. I don't think that they'd struggle to try and lure him, as Pogba has already spoken highly of Real Madrid and his love for the club. So potentially this could be a good fit. However, according to these reports, the clubs that are interested in Pogba do not want to sign him in January. They are happy to wait until the summer. When it comes to Eden Hazard and Real Madrid, let's face it has not been the fairy tale that we all expected it to be. And according to ESPN and their sources, the club have been sounding out a few Premier League teams regarding signing the player in January. So two of the clubs that have been mentioned is Chelsea and Newcastle United. It's uncertain yet what stage they're actually at regarding their interest in Hazard and if Hazard himself would actually want to leave Madrid. He has started just 25 games in the Liga and has 5 goals from 52 appearances across all competitions after suffering with various injury problems since arriving in Spain. Now, although back in June the player did state that he wanted to make a success of his time at Real Madrid since the arrival of Carlo Ancelotti, there have been a few doubts over his future. Now, of course, he was left on the bench for their victory in El Clasico over the weekend, and Ancelotti came out and basically stated that it wasn't because he was injured, but that he simply prefers other players to Hazard. He did then go on to praise Hazard. However, this is pretty damning considering Real Madrid signed the player in 2019 for €100 million with performance-based add-ons. Now, let's face it, Real Madrid are looking to raise funds reportedly to bring in the likes of Borussia Dortmund's Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe from PSG. Although Mbappe could potentially be on a free, they would of course have to pay quite a lot of money when it comes to his wages. And whilst Real Madrid haven't fixed a price tag firmly upon Hazard's head, they would be hopeful that they would get about €50 million for the player. Now, regarding his destination, of course, I think he's always been linked with a potential return to Chelsea, where he had some of his best playing days. He won the Premier League with them twice, and since their current manager Thomas Tuchel has said that he would like to bring in another striker to help support Romelu Lukaku, whilst Hazard isn't a striker, he can still bang in quite a few goals on his day. As of course in his final season with Chelsea, he managed over 20 goals across all competitions. So if he can maybe regain this form, he could be an option. However, there will be competition from Newcastle United since their takeover and the amount of money that they've now got with their new owners. Reportedly, they are going to wait until they have a fixed manager in place before they decide if Hazard is the right fit, but they are of course looking for their first marquee signing in January. However, they have been linked with Ousmane Dembele as well, and since of course Barcelona are going to have to pay reportedly around €12 million to Ronaldo Koeman as they have dismissed him, they may actually need the sale of Dembele in order to get a little bit of money. It is a shame to see a player like Hazard, who was once such a fantastic player, to now actually struggle to even get a game, and perhaps a return to the Premier League is just what he needs. And now we've got a transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, according to reports, Tottenham Hotspur are willing to let Dele Alli leave the club in January, with Newcastle United as one of the potential destinations. Elsewhere, Rayados won their 5th Champions League title as they got a 1-0 victory on Thursday night over Club America, and this means that they will now be competing in the 2021 Club World Cup. Over in Spain, and Real Madrid are eager to put themselves at the front of the queue for 17-year-old forward Matías Franca, who has been impressing for Flamengo. And finally, the UEFA Women's Euro 2022 group stage draw has been made. In Group A will be England, and they will face the likes of Northern Ireland, Austria and Norway. Meanwhile, Group B has been dubbed the Group of Death, which will feature Germany, Spain, Denmark and Finland. And now we've got Friday Feels. This is where I give you guys some of my predictions ahead of the weekend's fixtures, and you can give us yours in the comment section below, and some of the correct ones may be read out on Monday. So first up in the Premier League, we have got Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. As much as I would like to think that Man United will create a great response after that Liverpool defeat, the pressure is certainly on for the team, but I don't think they're going to win. I think it will end in a 1-1 draw. Of course, over in Spain, Barcelona face Alaves, their first game without Ronaldo Koeman, and I think that they will get a win with Sergio Aguero on the score sheet. And finally, in the Bundesliga, after losing 5-0 in the DFB Pokal, I think we will see a massive response from Bayern Munich against Union Berlin. They'll get the win, and I think Robert Lewandowski will score a hat-trick. So that is it for today's OneFootball Daily News. Check out all the other content that we've got here, and until next time, I will see you all later.